So, as someone who loves play, uh, there's a dark shadow side to my personality and the way that I engage with the world. And that's sort of what I touched on earlier of being like this deep obsession with perfectionism and productivity. So, as a result, I have a pretty negative relationship to, if we want to call it a virtue, the virtue of discipline. And I've been wrestling with this for a year. The question is, how do we cultivate a love of discipline while at the same time cultivating a love of play?
Mm, what a fantastic question, Renee. The first thing that arises for me is that although I am disciplined in my actions, in my business, in my life, I don't love discipline as such. I have respect for discipline. I admire and value it. But what I love is what it brings. I love the fruits of discipline because the fruits of discipline are ease in my body, peacefulness in my relationships, success in my business, a sense of purpose and excitement about my life. Those are the fruits of discipline. Do I love getting up early, working out, eating healthy, not having cake, you know, being responsible in all of my actions? Not always, because it's not easy. And but that's not the point. The point for me is that discipline is the vehicle by which I can come into contact with the things that are deeply meaningful, enjoyable, and pleasurable in measures that don't undermine the well-being of my future self. So I've balanced that with a love of play too, because in some sense, I would love to play all the time. Why not? Why can't we, Peter Pan, right? The puer aeternus, as we might say in this Jungian realm. Well, actually, you know what? I said this to a dear friend of mine just the other day. We had hung out one on one for the first time, and they texted me afterwards and said, "You know, I'm really surprised at how playful you were. I thought that you were a no nonsense kind of guy." And I said to them, I am equal parts sense and nonsense, and that is the only way that I can function. And I think that we need to see discipline and play in a very similar manner. It's the yang to the yin, the unstructured, the fluid, the emergent, the pleasurable, with the necessary, the structured, the contingent, and the temporal in some sense.